Farther down the rabbit hole because we like to go into topics more deeply. I'm especially pleased that today I have with me Nico Haupt. Welcome, Nico.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
And the reason I'm so happy to have Nico is because he went down to ground zero. He got a lot of footage. But what we're going to do is something that I think there's a little bit of a vacuum in the industry. And that is we're going to have more commentary on the footage instead of, some footage being collected by this camp and by that camp, and then they're put up on different websites, and then the viewer sort of goes around to different websites and gets different opinions. What I'm going to try to do is invite guests like Nico to come onto my show, and we'll take a look at the footage that they've shot of different events, and then we'll make comments on it, and I will glean some of the feedback that I get on my YouTube comments to say, oh, ask Webster this, or oh, ask Nico this, or maybe you're a guest that should be coming on the show in the future. You have a perspective. So right now I'm going to turn this over to rolling the footage that was collected at Ground Zero yesterday. So thanks, Nico, for the footage, and just roll and play and fast forward and rewind. And
yeah, we're here right now at Ground Zero. You see one of the original banners created in 2003. This is Kerry. He's not from a real activist organization, but he used to be with the No Police State group. They created the first banner, Bush Regime Engineered 9/11. And I used to hang out with New York 9 Truthstalk, which I co-created in 2003 at Ground Zero with that banner. That's still the original one. See, Bush Regime Engineered 9/11.
That was your banner?
That was our first banner from New York 9 Truthstalk, built by the No Police State group. Kerry is a veteran activist. Actually, he's really one of the most authentic street activists I know. Last year we also heckled Bush, gave him the Sieg Heil into his car. This was pretty funny. So right now here we at Ground Zero directly, Port Authority. The vibe as usual is a kind of respect showing to the family members. So the closer you come into these kind of scenery, you chant less. But for sure some people break this codex and they start chanting in the corner.
What's codex?
Well, some people
that's
say,
Alex Jones, right?
Right, this is Alex Jones.
He looks pretty busy.
Now hearing my voice, I try to comment also with the footage. I try not to speak a little bit louder that you don't hear me twice, but Jones was always on the phone pretending somehow authority with this kind of stuff. This is one of his kind of female bodyguards actually. I asked Alex Jones a question, why is it that he's not talking about direct energy weapons as he did in 2004 in an article on his own website.
Actually, let's listen to you speak.
This week, they actually complain that there's not much more articles about direct energy weapons. These systems are not a conspiracy theory. You can look them up on Boeing, Lockheed, SIC. These companies received contracts in 2040 contracts. And this is why we have infiltrated the movement and extract from that evidence, create a limited hangout on the thermite evidence. It's nonsense. You cannot disintegrate a tower completely with thermite. You have to use an unconventional weapon of any kind. Direct energy weapon is prospect number one.
Well, I will explain the point a little bit. We know that the towers couldn't have come down by thermite only. That it must have accrued some unconventional weaponry. And one of the main suspects is actually direct energy weapons, together with other unconventional weaponry, Los Alamos and Kirtland and White Sands developed. And I confronted Alex Jones with his own articles on direct energy weapons in 2004, and as you saw, he walked away from me. He gets immediately surrounded by his bodyguards. There's also some female cheerleaders, like this was a very rabid one, always surrounding him.
Oh, you mean that lady was with Alex Jones?
She was very close to him, like she pretends she has a kind of authority, blocking me to speak with Alex Jones. Alex Jones never responded back to me.
In other words, you can tell who the bodyguards are because they prevent you from speaking to who you want to speak to,
right.
Nico. That's very funny.
That's a good friend of mine here. That's he used to be one of the not this guy.
Should we listen
he was
to
nice.
him?
No, I'm just trying to introduce everyone. He used to be with former New York 9 Truths core group. Then he went to 9 Truths Action. He's also no planer. That's JP Digit. So I'm talking a little bit here with my old buddies. The guy next to him in the left, he was a little bit open-minded on the no-planer issue, so I'm giving him some leaflets.
Let's listen to you.
Let's listen maybe a little bit too.
Just because I got alienated, so I respond with my own emotion back. Sure, absolutely. Well, I know 9/11 was an inside job, but
Okay.
Say, Nico, I really like how you, you know, talked about your reputation, and the people seem nice there.
Well, I 60% had positive response. Actually,
yeah.
Most people recognize me from other footage. In the last few weeks, strangely, old interview footage from 2006 was re-uploaded, and then we have the Paula Gloria interviews. They're becoming very popular, so people know what I had to say recently and compare that with my more emotional outrage situation over the last 6 months. So right now I'm in a kind of non-transgression phase, so I just try to get the point across that Prison Planet and Loose Change and the other I call them phony leaders ignore still the success from September Clues, most popular 9 fakery documentary. Here you see how the rain starts, very, very aggressive rain. Some people even argue or speculate, made a joke, it could have been a result of weather modification weapon or weather manipulation weapons. So we know they exist, and they're using artificial rain. Apparently this was just circulating as a joke, and it really had the effect, it disabled the protest for a while. So then we had, I'll fast forward here a little bit, because I think that was a kind of blackout.
Yeah.
So I think the rain is not visibly here on that footage, but it was really strong rain, very heavy rain. People had to move from one corner to the other. Just right now, before you saw this guy dressed in an American flag, some people
that rain looks hard.
Yeah, now it's becoming
It looks
really
nasty.
hard. Here's one of the t-shirt guys, I call them the yellow shirters. Very dominant, very aggressive. Hardly I'm trying to escape.
Look at the rain on those steps.
Right, it's really very extreme rain. That's when the jokes start. This must be weather manipulation.
But you don't put much by that joke. Oh, let's listen to this fellow.
Artificial rain to somehow destabilize protests. A lot of untruths is coming now down into the Port Authority. So, hey, I have a quick question for you. Yeah. I know it's a conspiracy, but it looks a little like sabotage from the weather god. Could it be weather modification weapons, artificial rain to just divert the protest?
I believe in weather modification. I think they got something going.
We cannot prove that they use it today, but they agree they have that.
Well, yeah, you can't prove,
I see we're joking a little bit around. No, I know that weather modification and weather manipulation weapons do exist, so every time I have an opportunity to talk a little about that, and I'm open-minded. We cannot prove exactly in how far advanced this weaponry are, but there's definitely a budget for it, and there is a documentary that the Department of Defense wants to control or only weather until the year 2025. These documents are well known. We know artificial rain exists, cloud seeding, artificial hurricanes. So, but we don't need to stretch that point now. It was just a joke, because it was really at the point when the protest seemed to organize. So at that point it was completely disforming. So maybe I'm fast forwarding a little bit. That's not so.
So you were just bringing that up as a concept, something to consider. I like to do that on my show, not to say that this is the final the final word, but something to think about. If there's a budget for weather modification, let's consider examples of it.
Let's go back to footage because a lot of things to mention. Here you have the crowd is surrounded by the cops. They always make sure that you never stand at one point. So every time...
The guy pointing at us.
Yeah, that was actually an AP reporter. I also allowed him to film the back of my shirt, which had TV fakery as a parody from TV Guide. And here we have this guy dressed as an American flag. This is Jonathan. He's with another New York NYC 993.org. So there are a lot of.
They really like you there. These are your friends, huh?
Well, some of them I call my buddy, even if I don't barely know them. But over the last 3 days, I met a lot of new cool guys. Here I'm filming a little bit this flag waver. I think he's pretty much authentic. Some people thought he was hired just to distract. I think he's one of these nice characters in America. And
listen.
Oh, okay. How do you think he's changing his beard 5 times?
This is about Bin Laden.
And we get him up. He's getting younger with every video. Let's work together with you guys. We're gonna work together. If you see suspicion, you report to authority. Let's get him on.
Okay, we have kind of sound dropouts here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so you were saying there's 5 Bin Ladens?
You're right.
And so you're joking with him about him.
I like these originals. These are real, authentic flag wavers. No matter if they hired him for that purpose or what. He's a harmless flag waver. He's not one of these rabbits. He has his own show, so I respect that. Last year I also had an American flag. This year I forgot. So and here I think it's already part of the march. We now, I think, between.
But you know, Nico, I'd like to pause.
No, sorry, this is important. Now we're here at Building 7. So maybe we saw show a little bit of the atmosphere. This was the most dominant moment of the march. 700-800 people, almost 1,000 in front of the new Building 7.
I just wanted to say that I know you care very much about this country. You're from Germany and you have a deep appreciation of the Constitution of America and what it can be and the freedom of speech, and you use it, you exercise freedom of speech, and I think more people should do that. There shouldn't be this intimidation that we shouldn't talk. This is how we become greater America.
I'm coming actually from a journalist background. I worked at TV for 10, 12 years. I had my own radio show in Germany for also 10 years. That's actually the freedom of speech I try to fight for, but I also appreciate people's voice or speak outs.
Oh, there's Tom Foti.
Yeah, here we have Tom Foti. You see Tom Foti and Luke. They were the only one which partly took over and directed the chants. So
there's Luke, right?
Here's Luke.
He's got the baseball cap around, I guess.
Yeah, and here's a live stream.
What's he saying?
Larry Silverstein got away! Is this a live stream from VR Change?
No, I'm filming myself.
Okay, I'm filming myself.
Nice.
This is the live stream from VR Change.
Live stream from VR Change. I think they were once streaming to about 300 people.
Seriously, you gotta stay back. Why are you always coming to me?
They do something.
Don't worry, but I don't want to get arrested. Why are you always coming to me?
Here we had an argument with one of the yellow shirts again. He always seems to pick me instead of other ones. I really tried to make sure I'm not in the way of the police cops. I used to hang out at protests, so every time I'm seeing the cops, I make sure that I'm in time leaving the sidewalk, so I was not blocking as he pretends. He just showed some authority. And I know this guy since, in 3 days he always came to me first, so that's why I was a little bit miffed. And but that was not a real situation. It just
it kind of gets on your nerves after.
It went on my nerves, so because I was not the only one who broke the rules, and then, as I said, I didn't do it in an aggressive way. I was just passing and try to make good B-roll.
Right.
And so I was.
It is great B-roll to see all this rain. I mean, we were.
As I said, I tried my best and was very close to the crowd, so I was not blocking the sidewalk. So he's just over-exaggerating his authority.
Yeah.
Most of these yellow shirts had a kind of bodyguard function. It looks like they're directing also the route, and I know that these people are not open-minded on TV fakery. There seems to be correlation between what is the topic and what the bodyguards, the yellow t-shirters, have to decide. So they seem to be stronger and louder, and though they're in a minority, but then they're more aggressive or more hostile, so that they seem to represent the majority of We Are Change, which they aren't. This guy here right now was from the Rancher Church, actually. He's also not one of my friends, but he's a kind
Now,
of...
who are these people?
These are We Are Change people.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, also a lot of no-planers. I don't want to point out who exactly is no-planer.
Let me just interrupt you, Nico. At this point, when I went to the We Are Change event at Webster Hall, We Are Changer came up to me and said, I want to talk to you about Nico Haupt. And I knew you were controversial, and I was kind of like, you know, when you're a kid in high school, oh no, what are they going to say? He was complimenting me and saying that he really enjoyed to follow the research that you're doing on YouTube. So that was nice. And I can see by this footage, people are very open to you, and you're collecting important material.
Well, as I said, I have a good relationship with many of the We Are Change people. For sure, this year a lot of protests came from outside New York City, so these are new people anyway. And I spoke with many, and many of them are much younger and obviously more open-minded on the TV fakery thing, and also they know about direct energy weapons. They try now to connect these things together, as I try to do in my future combat system research, but they separately analyze both entities very carefully. So this is just an activist issue that for some reason they're blocking the evidence. There was actually talk that they try to show September clues during the anniversary. And
There's a security guy?
this is one of the guys, maybe got one of the additional t-shirts. So he's not one of the rabbit yellow t-shirts. He's not one of the leaders who actually say what to do. They handed out a lot of additional security shirts, just to pretend that they have a lot of security people with.
Just to pretend.
This is a nice shot. It shows how many people showed up. A little bit less than last year. Maybe we had 2,000 or 1,500 last year, and this year it was way under 1,000. But many different signs this year.
You're not going to see this on mainstream, are you?
We had maybe 60% investigate 9/11 shirts. Already a lot We Are Change people.
Oh,
here's Tom 40.
Let's hear Tom. Oh, but then the audio goes out sometimes. Who was that with the camera? Do you know him?
I have to see him again. A lot of cameramen were amateur cameramen, but some of also to 9/11 projects. Like I saw snowshoe films. There was also Alex Jones' team around. So you see black t-shirts more or less investigate 9/11, which was the leading slogan during the last year, which I consider as a hangout. I personally think investigate something is always a delay of the truth. The rain is here also not as strong as it was before, but people have a lot of umbrellas. Ask questions, demand answers. This is an old school slogan. It's like it's a complete hangout. Like asking questions means this is what we did 5 years ago. We ask questions, we have the answers already. This is a kind of limited hangout slogan. Well, we have the typical chant here in front of Building 7, the new Building 7.
Oh, this is referring to Building 7.
Yeah.
That
So here they're mocking the silver screen thing who said pull it, and maybe listen a little bit to this. The guy with the Alex Jones t-shirt is actually also one of the leading yellow shirters. This day he had another yellow shirt. But he's very aggressive also if it comes to TV fakery. He always shouting me down every time it's a group, no planer buddies. He's coming there and saying, oh, you whacked out, or the CIA faked the footage on purpose. Everything is fake on purpose. So this is a little bit strange argument to claim that they may play 500 hours of footage so that it was on purpose fake. This doesn't add up. So this is one of the main leaders here of the yellow shirters. He was very dominant, always make sure...
I know him, yeah.
I forgot his name now, but I'm sure some of the audience will recognize him. We didn't get along much, but it's like hello and goodbye thing. He always made sure no one is walking on the sidewalk, very big authority. 2 days ago he had also a racing car and then demonstrating a horn, and then he's parking the car again. It's very. Here I'm showing the New York Post article from last week, which is complaining that there's not enough articles about direct entry weapons.
Isn't that amazing? So you're saying that the New York Post carried an article saying that there's not enough coverage of directed energy weapons, or it's not politically
that's
considered.
Very ironic. And so I showed a lot of people, and 8 from 10 were actually surprised that this is actually an issue. I had a kind of cardboard with me for 4 days. I look a little bit silly maybe with that cardboard, but my point was to show in 4 articles what is really the cover-up in the Lyme Truth movement. So the big success of September Clues plus the TV fakery evidence in itself. Then the article from 2004 of Prison Planet about direct entry weapons. Then I flipped it over to the New York Post article, and so most people will start thinking. And just one maybe from 20 said, oh, it can't be true because it's the New York Post. Well, the thing is, the New York Post is actually presenting direct entry as a limited hangout by saying all these tests just started. So that is where I would say, yeah, that's why it's in the New York Post, but not because it's not true. No, because they now try to introduce it as if they just started with that research, and that's completely untrue. The direct entry weapon research and weaponry, I'm forwarding a little bit, started already in the
What's
in the
happening
90s.
Here now?
Maybe a kind of sound drop out.
What's going on here?
We're still in front of
the rain is still happening there, so you must be about 12:30.
Let's see, we have sound again. So anyway, New York Post was reporting about Boeing's latest test with the ADL, this is the airborne laser program, and so the New York Post was just writing about something which you can easily look up on the Boeing website. It was also reported by CNN and Australian media. Anyway, so this March is now leaving Building 7. I'm talking again
what are
about
you
Alex
saying
Jones.
here? Let's listen
see if
to you.
I forget a point of course.
They're the ones who are actually going out with the camera and heckling politicians and media. Alex Jones still doesn't want to talk with me about his own articles from 2004 about direct entry weapons. He's still ignoring the evidence on TV fakery, which makes by now 6-digit numbers. So from time to time, speaking with the people here, and they're very open-minded. A lot of people know already September Clues. They love that movie. They maybe have not the courage yet to speak out against the phony years, but I'm sure the tide will turn at the end of the year. And as I said already, New York Post confirmed the existence, thanks, of direct entry weapons, so it really means too much.
This was actually a nice moment where you see that I'm not making this up. I was surprised by myself. I met a lot of people who knew September Clues, said, yeah, I know the movie. I even, embarrassingly, I spoke with the same people 3 times in 2 days, forgot already that I already spoke with them. So they said, yeah, Nico, we spoke yesterday about September Clues already, remember? Or I met another guy said, no, I actually was the one who introduced September Clues to this guy. So
can you explain?
I count at least 15, 20 We Are Changed people who know this movie, believe in TV faking, and now, I'm just picking up other people in the crowd.
Now, Nico, I know this is going to go to your group that's very sophisticated, but I'm also going to put it on my show in Manhattan Neighborhood Network. Can you talk about what September Clues is and why you think this is an important
well,
video?
September Clues basically compiled every kind of articles we wrote in the last 6 years, plus every visualization we tried to explain our own videos. We clipped the footage together, partly on YouTube and live video, and made the point where exactly we have the biggest evidence on TV fakery. And Social Service did basically a best of documentary and improved it with his own graphic inserts and comments and additional analysis, and even we found some new details which are fascinating. And just right now on this morning on Wednesday part 8 was released. I highly recommend. Once again he found something new. Part 8 of September Clues, so you get like what, a clue a month, or? Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's definitely still beating the other part. It's still a good job. So just everyone should Google September Clues. September Clues. September Clues, or go to livevideo.com social service. So we maybe have 6 more minutes time to show.
But
let's.
But I still want to elaborate for my viewers who don't know that much, some of whom don't even believe that 9/11 truth is a problem. There are different organizations. We've seen some of the footage, and some people purposely put disinformation out. Is that correct, Nico? And you have to wade through it.
No, there had been attempts just by one person to discredit social service. That was a guy called Michael Swenson. I think he's with Truth Evolution Radio. He argued that at one point social service used footage where the plane looks longer, like in a similar footage where the plane looks shorter. It's a so-called cigar plane. We call it a cigar plane. Well, some researchers call it a different plane. It's also known as a Cheney hit. The Cheney hit came from a Canadian documentary where the cameraman himself already 3 years ago said, I didn't have a plane included, and then he was somehow censored, and since then we had no chance to get in touch with him again. This was Luke Coccioni. And this footage actually does exist in 3 different versions, so by pointing out that social service just picked one instead of comparing all the 4, he gave us even a point on our side, so that makes it even more suspicious if a cameraman has...
But Nico, you're still... I have a very new audience to this.
Right.
Social service is what? What is social service?
Social service is the director of September Clues.
Social service is the name?
Yeah, that's his nickname is Simon Scheck. But
we're
losing a little track here
okay.
On the other thing.
Okay.
I just would say people should Google social service September Clues, and then we have to dedicate an own show for this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't focus.
Okay.
Same time focusing on foot. We lost here actually some interesting highlights where you see Luke is still falling into the old role where he actually is still recruiting people from the side. So it's a little bit strange if you don't constantly focusing on authority of an activist. So he's on the one hand he's pushing particular topics, but on the other hand he's still trying to be a kind of helping God. Like he seems to fall back into the old rule, like he used to be under Les Jameson, and Les Jameson used him to control the masses or something like that. This is a kind of interesting personality switch. Luke, it's like he doesn't want to become number one authority, but if so, then he's still nipping his heels to Alex Jones. So instead of becoming a complete own personality, he's always switching between 3 different positions of where he stands. Like, is he helping the crowd? Is he a kind of a crowd control helping guy, or does he want to become a speaker? Every time when I ask him, Luke, did you finally see September Clues? He said he has no time. Well, I don't know what he's focusing. Is he focusing on the topic? Is he focusing on organizing the group? Like, is he walking around like a nervous guy, or does he want to speak?
So we just have to build up a momentum of people looking at September Clues, and then the leaders follow. That's what they always say. When the people lead, the leaders will follow.
Well, and I personally don't believe in leadership anyway. I believe in decentralized movements. I don't know. I never have been in a movement. I'm a party guy, so I believe in decentralized group behavior and the dynamic over decentralizations. But I really would like to continue analyzing this footage, because I see it also just for the first time